will join with time. So, audience, Pastor Yawson, Pastor, your audience.
All right. Okay. I think what I want to do tonight, what I want to do this afternoon rather, is okay. I will talk a bit. I mean, I have a few things that I want to share, and that could go on for quite a while. But I'm trying to hold myself back and I don't want to do all of that, because what I actually want your questions. That's one of the main things that I actually want your questions. So please, I hope you have your questions ready. So okay. So I'm torn in between two. So I want to talk on something to do with vocal strain, dealing with vocal strain, managing that, and talking on something to do with diction as well. So I think maybe I'll go on the vocal strain, and the talk on vocal strain also covers some other things, because then it goes into voice care and some other stuff as well. And then obviously, let's get into it. So if you see me looking this way, I'm just looking at my laptop.
Yeah. Mommy, before you go on, let me just give one of the simple rules. Let's all try to, if you have any question, you can click the raise hands button, or you can put your question in the chat side so that I can read it out for her, or she would see it. Then again, just so it becomes more interactive, let's know we are dealing with human beings and not robots. So if you can, if you can leave your video on, then unmute your video so we see faces, then we know we are dealing with human beings. And then you can put your questions in the chat room. All right, Mommy, thank you. I think you can go on.
Okay, so I chose to talk about this because I know I get asked a lot of questions. This is about vocal strain, because you meet a lot of people, a lot of singers, and they've been using their voice in church. Pastor has told me to do X amount of service. We're fasting and praying for the whole month. I've been leading worship for the whole month, and then Pastor, I've lost my voice. How do I manage this? So I thought it's something that happens to all of us. So let me talk about it. So I believe talking about vocal strain, I think, gives the singer or even the vocal director of any choir the basic understanding of how the voice actually works. And I think it also it teaches the singer or the vocal director. And as I said, it's not just the singer, but I think those who manage the voices of the singers also need to be aware of some of this information. So what we're going to talk about tonight teaches the singer or the vocal director to identify for themselves habits that can lead to vocal strain. I think that's important, that we must be able to identify. As a singer, you must be able to identify certain things. It's the same way that a keyboardist can look at their keyboard and they can tell, okay, oh no, that key, the spring underneath that particular thing is broken, we need to repair it. The same way with the singers, our instrument, we must be aware of what is happening, and we must be able to quickly detect certain things before we escalate it any further. So that's why we're talking about vocal strain. And okay, moving on. And I think talking about it as well. Okay, my notes are okay. Let's make sure that I'm not going ahead of myself. Okay, right. Okay. So I'm just gonna go. Sorry, my notes are playing up on me here. Okay, I'm just gonna go in there. So, as we said, we're talking about vocal strain, and then why talk about it? Obviously, because we need to be aware of it and we need to know how to handle it. And also, we need to be able to. The aim is that we want to prevent long-term damage to our voice, and we want to encourage good vocal care for the singer, and then for the vocal director or choir director who's managing multitude of voices. So basic facts. So it's always important to know basic facts about your instrument. I think that's always very important. I always talk about this, but I know some people think, oh, let's just do the singing. Let's just get to the singing part. But I'm thinking, no, you must understand how your instrument works. Otherwise, it's going to last you, what should last you a lifetime, last you half your lifetime. And you don't want that.
Yeah.
You want to be singing. As a singer, you want to be singing forever. Till the Lord calls you, you want to be singing. So remember some very basic things that every singer should know. Your vocal folds are in your voice box. That's where your vocal folds are. The vocal folds, they're in your voice box. For the men, it's the Adam's apple. That's the voice box. And we will talk about that a bit more. The vocal folds, obviously, they remain open when we are silent. When we speak or sing, the vocal folds close, and air from the lungs is forced through them, and that is what causes it to vibrate. And there we get this. There we start getting the sound. So so vocal folds and vocal folds. Let's think about it. Vocal folds can be strained. Vocal folds can be damaged. Vocal folds can develop tumors. Vocal folds can be infected. So we have to be aware. It's important to be aware of all these things happening while we're singing, because we're singing and we're not. I don't think a lot of us even think. We just kind of sing. I think that this voice will just do what it's supposed to do. When we wake up, we just sing. So, and then be aware of certain things like your vocal folds vibrate faster on higher pitches. Vocal folds vibrate obviously slower on lower pitches. And then some facts. The adult male voice box is bigger than the adult female's voice box, and that's obvious from looking at most anatomy. Most men, you can actually see their voice, the front of their voice box protruding, which is the Adam's apple, compared to the female, which you don't actually, you hardly see the female's voice box. It's there, but it's in the same place, but you don't see it. So the smallest is the voice box of the children who are yet to attain puberty. So that explains why most of the guys have that thing there that's called an Adam's apple. It's not because Adam swallowed an apple or whatever. It's just the different size in the voice, the voice box. So at birth, I'm just giving you some facts. So at birth, the vocal folds are like approximately 3 millimeters in length. And then in men, it starts to go from 15 to 20 millimeters. For women, it's like, for the mature man, it's 15 to 20 millimeters. And then for the mature woman, it's 9 to 13 millimeters. And then the higher you sing, the faster the vocal folds vibrate. So these are just some interesting facts, which I think is important that we kind of understand what's happening, which is, it's important to understand what we're, as singers, what is happening in our body. So what is vocal strength? Since we're kind of focusing a bit on that, what is vocal strength? So this is will have to do with difficulty in producing sound when speaking or singing, which actually results in the quality of the change in the quality of the voice. And you will notice it. Whenever your voice is strained, you notice it. And so sometimes your voice might get breathy, it might get scratchy, it might sound scratchy, it might sound hoarse. And also sometimes for some of us, we might actually even feel some pain. We might actually feel some pain because we've actually strained the voice. So what causes? Let's look at some causes. What causes vocal strain? Because I think it's important for us to know what causes it so that we don't go there, or at least we try and prevent it. So basically things like shouting over loud noise. Yeah, sometimes it happens in church because sometimes we're shouting because everybody's singing and we can't hear ourselves, so we just scream our heads off, and by the time we finish, it's like, oops, I can't talk. I got to rest my voice for the rest of the week. I can't talk. So causes of vocal strain are shouting, and then lack of warm-ups, vocal warm-ups. A lot of singers, if I took a poll right now on this Zoom class, how many singers warm up their voice regularly? Twice a week, thrice a week, once a week. Should I take the poll or should I save everybody the embarrassment? All right. A lot of us don't do any warm-ups whatsoever. We sing cold. The only time maybe we do maybe any kind of vocal exercise, maybe we come for rehearsal and the choir director does a quick drill before we start rehearsals. But we are supposed to be warming up the voice. You're supposed to be warming up those muscles before they actually start the work of singing. Very, very important. So we said shouting. What is the causes of vocal strain? Shouting, lack of vocal warm-ups, singing songs that are not within your range. Sometimes, and so this is important for singers and the vocal director, choir director. When we're singing songs on a regular basis that are not in our vocal range, we will strain our voice. So which is why it's important that those who are managing the voice understand the voices of the collective that they are working with, so that they're able to say, okay, Amma, this song suits your voice. Oh, Kofi, this song suits your voice. Okay, it's a 2-octave range. Okay, your range is 1 octave. You won't be able to express it as you should. Okay, you have a 2-octave range, or you have 1.5 octave range. So this particular song will suit you. So it's important to understand those kind of dynamics. Otherwise, sometimes what happens is that we push people beyond what maybe their voice, what they can actually do, or maybe where they are at the moment. Because sometimes some people, your voice develops, and your range, you can increase your range up to a point. So if the person who is managing the voices doesn't understand that, it's going to be, you're lazy. Sing it, push, sing higher, sing from your belly, sing from your diaphragm, push, and the person is like, I can't. And then maybe one day they say, okay, I'll try, and they scream it out. And they sing it, and then after that, they begin to find out actually they start having problems with their voice, or they do it on a regular basis, and then they begin to find out that they're having they're having issues with their voice. So we're talking about causes of vocal strain. So another one that we can talk about is singing when you have an infection. Sometimes we have a sore throat and we decide to still keep singing. That it can be quite dangerous. Singing when recovering from an infection, something you have, maybe there's a laryngitis, or it could just be a sore throat. So obviously you've got pain in your throat, it's sore, you are hoarse, but then you keep on singing. So you find that if you continue that habit over a long period, it will actually affect your vocal range. It will affect the quality and tone of your voice. So I think you have to be quite careful. So even so, we're still talking about the causes of vocal strain, and another one is bad singing technique. You know, sometimes where we are engaging muscles that do not need to be engaged while we're singing. Maybe our swallowing muscles, neck muscles. You know, you can see somebody singing and they're squeezing the whole neck, their veins are about to pop. And, you know, because we're instead of employing the muscles which are in your voice box, because there are muscles in there in your voice box which help to pull and open the vocal folds. There are muscles in there, there's tissue in there, they help to pull and open the vocal folds and all that. But if you then begin to employ muscles in your jaw, you're clenching your jaw, or, you know, you're clenching your teeth, and, you know, you're tense. You know, some people, when you're singing, you can tell you're tense up here. Mm-hmm. You're tense in your throat area, and it's because you are squeezing there. Instead of your abdomen doing the work, your neck is doing the work. So if you sing always from that point of view, from your neck, your throat, you will always lose your voice. You will always lose your voice. Your voice will always be strained because you're not letting the breathing apparatus, which is part of your instrument, actually push the air out for you. You're forcing your throat and the muscles in your throat, in your neck, you're forcing them to push out the air, and they don't need to. So it's important to, I know we don't normally talk about this that often, but I think it's important for us to talk about it so that we understand what is actually happening in the body. So also what can cause vocal strain, something that we might not even think about, dehydration. That is why for the singer, water is your friend. Yeah. Water, you know, sometimes I joke that, you know, sometimes people think, oh, when they see the singers, they're good concert, they're going on stage, they're carrying their bottle of water, they think it's some show or something. So it's not a show, they need that water. I mean, they need that water because your vocal folds survive on moisture. Your voice box survives on moisture. And when the moisture is gone, it affects you. And I can say that from experience. I've been at a concert whereby, you know, I think I drank, I don't know, I think I drank water before, but I went throughout. I remember doing it once. I went throughout. I was just coming on and off, and I didn't drink water. Oh my God, by the time I finished, my voice was strained. And even as I was ending the concert, I could hear my throat the voice was now becoming harsh. It was dry. Mm-hmm. When there's no water, when you have no water in your body, it actually affects the tone. It affects what's happening to your voice. Your voice, even sometimes it begins to crack because it's dry and the vocal folds are now rubbing. They're rubbing against each other. instead of them, if when there's moisture and the mucus, there's a mucus that's supposed to be on it, is there, it kind of glides, they glide. But when you're dehydrated, it just rubs harshly against each other, and you don't want, that's what causes the damage. So it's very, very important to think of these things, and also sometimes when you can see the signs, to deal with it immediately. So so what do you do if vocal strain occurs? Obviously, sometimes these things will happen. What do I do if it actually occurs? I mean, from what we just mentioned, drink a lot of water. Drink a lot of water. And when we say water, it's not water with sugar in it, water with coffee in it, water, water. Just not water that tastes like Coke, or water that tastes like Sprite. No, water. So if any vocal strain occurs, drink a lot of water, because the vocal folds, the voice box, thrive on a lot of moisture. So you need that. So, and then take a vocal rest when you have throat infections. Sometimes, as I mentioned earlier on, sometimes when we have throat infections, everybody's like, no, you have to sing this song. I mean, praise God. I mean, there are divine interventions, and even I will attest to that. Sometimes we're in a situation, we're in a conference, and you just say, Holy Spirit, I need to sing this song. I need your help. And there are divine interventions, and God will intervene, and you will go and you will sail through it, and nothing happens. But I think it's important to be able to know that when you have a throat infection, please rest. If somebody's got a flu or something, and you know that I've got a very bad sore throat, it's actually better to rest the voice. Okay, I saw a hand up. Was somebody want to ask a question?
I think it's a thumbs up. But the stress bits, when the MD and the pastor is still pushing, I mean, no one has to lead praises at church. You can't be tired when you're on stage and you have to deliver, and you say you need to get your voice rested.
But you see, the thing is that and I suppose some of these things, I think I mentioned it earlier, that bad vocal technique. We now have to learn the right technique and the right way to breathe, that even breath management. So if I'm doing songs whereby it's songs that are exhilarating, shouting, it's celebratory, it's loud, there are techniques you must be able to sing from your abdomen and not from your throat. Because if you are singing songs that are really loud, celebratory, and you're jumping up and down, and you're not taking the time to actually sing from your abdomen, and you're trying to sing from your throat, I can guarantee you will not last the service. After the service, and if you decide to do 2 services, I can guarantee you after the end of the day, it's going to be a disaster. So
yeah.
Yes. So with these things, even though sometimes pastors put pressure on us, we are the experts. We are the owners of the instruments. We should learn how our instrument functions, and what do we need to do to get maximum output out of it. So if I know that, okay, I'm going to be singing for 6 services, 5, then okay, I've got to make sure I'm resting, I'm drinking a lot of water. Did I do my warm-ups throughout the week? If you do your warm-ups throughout the week, I can guarantee you your voice will be sounding clearer and ready to work on a Sunday. So that those kind of some of those techniques. I think maybe we'll do one practice thing. We'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe a breath. We'll try something. So obviously, what do I do if I have vocal strain? Don't sing over loud noise. Even all of this, not singing over loud noise, all of these are techniques. They're techniques that you have to use in how do I get the breath out without squeezing my throat or squeezing my neck or squeezing my jaws, and I get the notes out, the voice out, and I'm not straining, and the note is clear, it's crisp, and I'm able to sing through my entire phrase without running out of breath. So all those things are, we need to think through that. So obviously, don't engage, if your voice is strained, don't engage in loud bouts of shouting. That goes without saying, sometimes. But sometimes we're screaming, could be even screaming at children. And for some of us who use our voices at work, some of us use our voices not just for singing. It's part of the job that we do. Maybe we're teachers, your KG teacher, your primary school teacher, you're screaming at children in the class, and then you have to come for rehearsal and you have to sing on Sunday. So you're using your voice, or you're somebody who's maybe your
when the
customer
singer
service.
is a prayer leader too.
Yes, you're a prayer leader. Very, very true. You're the prayer leader, But some of these are techniques. Technique. Because you have to be aware. If you're not aware, you're going to lose your voice. So techniques, people who lose, who are maybe customer service reps, they are on the phone for 8 hours.
Yeah.
So they're using their voice. They talk for 8 hours. They're talking literally nonstop, picking up calls every minute. They're picking up calls. So you're using your voice a lot more than the average person. And then you have to use it to sing. And obviously singing is more intense. Singing is more intense. So you then have to know how to manage your voice. So so we're still talking about what do we do if we experience vocal strain. I think one of the things that we can do, and I think I knew about it, but also I learned about it when I also went to have my voice checked, is steam your voice. We mentioned that the voice box thrives on moisture. The same steaming that you normally do when you have a cold, and you put boiling water in a bucket.
Yeah.
You normally put your Vicks in it and you cover your head with a towel. But this time without the Vicks, you want the steam. The steam to provide moisture for the voice. So whenever your voice is tired, even when you have sore throats and all that, or you're going to sing, you're going to sing on Sunday, one of the things you should do, warm up your voice and steam your voice. You're having a concert. That whole week, practice it, steam therapy. You're going to warm up your voice and then you're going to steam. Whether it's once a day or twice a day, you steam your voice. So that then there's that steam. Obviously, the steam is water, isn't it? Really, it's water. It's that goes up your throat, and it provides the moisture that area of your voice box actually needs. So it provides that moisture, and it relaxes, also relaxes the muscles in the voice box as well. So I think that one is simple. It's free. You don't need to go and buy nothing. Just get your kettle, boil your water, put it in a bucket. All you need is a bucket, hot water, and towel. As long as the water must be steaming, so you can actually inhale the steam. Very, very, very important. Yeah. So some other things that can be effective when your voice is strained. And I think I want to take some questions. What's the time? Okay. I'm trying to run through. Okay, let me just run through this. I think I'm not even going to go to the other one. I was thinking of at all, because it just won't work. So I think I'm almost done here. So some remedies, some things to do for the voice, which I'm sure some of us already do it. Things like we need a lot of vitamin C to fight off infection, and in this season, hey, we can do with a whole lot of vitamin C. But things that really help is things like lemons, which are quite effective in killing bacteria and infecting that have infected maybe the throat area. And also lemons also kind of promotes saliva production, and you need moisture, you need water, and it also reduces, it cuts, it almost breaks down mucus, because sometimes some of us have very thick mucus, which also inhibits us when we're singing. We have to be coughing, we have to be clearing our throat. So the use of lemons also breaks down the mucus as well. And also when you gargle it, it also reduces the lemon in water. Gargle it. It also reduces maybe the soreness, the itchiness, and the pain. It helps to relieve. The soreness and the itchiness in the throat. Same thing with things like ginger. And I think this season everybody should be taking lemon and ginger. Anyway, I'm not a doctor, but it's very useful, because ginger also naturally helps to reduce inflammation. And for most of us, when our voice is strained, that segment actually is inflamed. That's actually what's happened. The voice box is inflamed. So ginger helps to reduce inflammation. You can go and do a bit of study on that. Ginger also helps in reducing pain. So it's good to have something like a hot lemon and ginger drink. But obviously don't overdo it, because obviously lemon is quite acidic. So you have to be careful. I mean, obviously, if anybody who has ulcers, there's certain, if you've got to watch that. So So keep an eye on, maybe you might take something less acidic, maybe, or a lemon is more acidic compared to orange. I mean, orange is slightly lighter, but the lemon is quite acidic. So so those are some of the things to do, obviously, if your voice is strained. And then I think lastly, if it comes to it, which I had to do once, was go and see your ear, nose, and throat doctor, ENT. Has everybody heard of the ENT? Yeah. ENT department in the hospital. Yes. So in there will be people who actually can help us, who help out with speech, who help out with singing. But not with singing, but they help out with our, they can help out with the voice. They understand, the ear, nose, and throat doctors understand how the voice works. And normally in the ENT department, you might even have some who specialize in speech therapy and all those sort of things. So they are able to then speak to you. Yes, somebody says ENT, dear. All right. Yes. Okay, so I mean, I'm saying it. I went to one because actually, this is while I was in Ghana. I think it's almost 10 years ago. So I had to go to Y-Boakye clinic because I was feeling some pain in my throat and I was wondering what's going on. So I went and looked. I had to go and find. I didn't even know there was any. I was thinking, who does this kind of work? Who can I go to? And then I remember the doctor saying to me, you need to see an ENT doctor. So I saw an ENT specialist. He was he's at Y-Boakye clinic, but there's also a big ENT department at Kolebu as well. Because I saw him there, and I also went to Kolebu, and then he also put the something scope, and they put down, have a look down your throat and see what's happening there. And he also was the one that even then suggested to me even further that, Helen, you need to do the steam. You're using your voice regularly. You're preaching, you're teaching, you're singing. So you need to do the steam inhalation regularly. It will help you as well. So even though I was kind of doing it, but haphazardly, and I thought, okay, he's also mentioned it. So I added that to stuff that I'm doing as well. So I mean, ENT is like, things you are really feeling some pain that you cannot understand. I mean, it's not, you're not going to be going to the ENT doctor every time you feel something. But obviously, once in a while, for us singers, if this is what you're doing, it's good. Maybe there doesn't need to be anything wrong. It could just be to go to have your voice checked.
Yeah.
Because you might go there and they'll say, oh, actually your voice box is a bit inflamed. Oh, your voice, it's swollen. Oh, take a break or do this. And sometimes they give you some good remedies, which you might not have thought about. So sometimes it could be maybe once a year, once every 2 years or something. You can decide to, let's look for the, who's the ear, nose, and throat specialist in my hospital, or ask your doctor. They will definitely recommend one for you, and then you get yourself checked and see what's happening with your throat. And for some of us, we've been having some problems which you're not telling anybody, and I'm sure you need to go and see one. So I think, let me stop here. If I go any further, we're going to be here too much longer. So that's just a small bit. So let's dive into some questions. I want to answer some questions.
Yeah. Okay, so guys, we are in for questions. Then again, you can press the raise hand icon, or you can put your question in the chat room so that Pastor Helen can answer. Once you spoke about the causes of vocal strain, I want to find out, just like trying to keep in shape. The guys, a lot of people want to keep in shape now. Some people have a menu, for want of a better word, a number of times they want to visit the gym, or the number of times they want to exercise in the morning. In the same vein, the question really is, how much practice do we need to do? How many times do we need to necessarily do the vocal warm-ups or work on ourselves in a day, in a week, in a month as a singer?
I would say, for the singer, let's just say minimum. And actually, this period is even worse because a lot of people are going to be in for a rude shock when they get back to church. Because we have not been singing. We have not been singing. So the first thing is that you should sing every day. Sing. Just sing. Not that you're trying to do sing. Sing every day. Sing something. Just pick a song and sing. Sing regularly. Don't stop singing because you're not actively singing in church. You're not actively, oh, the choir, we haven't met since lockdown, nothing has happened. So not sing, keep singing. Otherwise, you lose your range. So keep singing. Things like your warm-ups. Your warm-ups should be done 3 to 5 days a week. If possible, 7 days a week. Sometimes the 7 days might be impossible. So let's say 3 to 5 days a week. The warm-up is not a long thing. It's like 10 to 15 minutes of some very basic exercises. And they're low intensity exercises that are done so as not to put so much pressure on your vocal fold. So they just warm-ups as the name suggests, is there to prepare the voice to do the work of singing. So you warm up your voice and then sing. So you have to sing. If you stop singing, I can guarantee you, and I can say that from experience, your range begins to drop, and the quality, even the tone, the quality of your voice will begin to change. So you need to keep singing. Disturb everybody, please sing.
Then we are in trouble because a lot of singers haven't been singing anyway. There's a question here. There's a question here that says that, then again, she's saying, good evening, please. How do you increase your vocal range without damaging your voice? And those in the church setting, if you happen to be the only lead vocalist, or if you're in a group and you happen to be the #1 lead vocalist, and there are songs that the technical guys will say once you drop the keys, it affects the harmonies of the BV. So you need to try and at least work around the pitch. So a lot of people are trying to learn how to increase their vocal range. Now, I think her question is, how do you actually increase your vocal range without necessarily damaging your voice?
Well, everybody's vocal range is going to differ, isn't it? I mean, my vocal, let's say if I have a range of 3 octaves and you have a range of 1 octave, how far are you going to increase your vocal range to get to mine? That's not going to happen. So the person that has, you have a range of, okay, let's say the range is 1 octave. Okay, I'm sure the range can increase. Let's say it increases to 1.5 octaves, or maybe it almost gets to 2. But we have to understand that people's voices are different. People's voices are different. We're not all we can't all sing the same thing. We can't all sing the same set of notes, because the vocal range basically is and which is why I keep on using the word octaves, is the amount of notes that you can sing comfortably. So low ends, middle notes, high notes. So every one of us have those. We have notes, and that's how you practice. And so normally when you practice your things like your scales, whether it's a 5-note scale or a 7-note scale, will probably give us a better range. But if we're using the 8-note scale rather, will give us a better range. So if I'm trying to increase my vocal range, I'll probably do I'll do my 8-note scale, which will be part of my regular routine, and I will mark it. So I will mark that I started on C sharp before the middle C. I started on the C, whether it's C3 or whatever. I started on C3 before middle C. That's where I started off, and then I ended up on maybe, I don't know, C6 or something. And I think, okay, so or maybe I went from C3 to C5, and then I'm thinking, okay, I think I can go a bit more. So, but I keep on I'm doing that exercise regularly. So this thing is practice. So I'm doing that exercise regularly, and as I begin to monitor myself, you will find out over a month. If I did that for a month, by the time I've done it for a month and I'm checking myself regularly, I'll find out that actually I used to start on C3, but I found that actually I'm now starting, like, I'm going down. I've added some bottom notes. Maybe I'm now starting on B, and I'm now also adding some upper notes. Maybe I've added maybe half a step or a whole step on my lower notes, or I've added half a step or a step on my higher notes. So that's what you find, and it's actually the exercising of the instrument. We are giving the instrument work. We're exercising the instrument. So if I did the run of the scale from your basic scale, da 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 da. So my practice for that will be will just be will be from my low. So I'll pick my low on the keyboard. I'll pick my lowest note that I'm comfortable. So you normally start on your lowest note, and I say comfortable. That's the right word. Lowest note, comfortable, and you end at your highest note, comfortable, and you come back down. You descend. So you can even do this in rehearsals, but it's good for the individuals because you can also it's easy to monitor. That I start, yes, that when I started these exercises at the beginning of the month, I was on C3. Now my lower note has I've added half. I'm on B. Well, I'm on B flat or something, or I'm on C instead of the C sharp. I'm now on C. So you've got to be able to monitor. If you monitor, you will actually see the changes. You'll find that actually there are small increments in the range, small steps. It's increasing. But sometimes what we are trying to do, we are trying to get, you are coming from one octave, you want to sing 4 octaves. Hey, you're going to kill yourself, girl. No, so the music director should be aware of this. So it's not everybody. So you've got to understand. So sometimes, what people don't understand, that sometimes we hear people and we don't realize that actually what the person has done is that they have optimized their range to the point that you've forgotten that, okay, that lady, she only has one octave range, but she has so optimized it. She sounds fantastic. You've forgotten that's her range, because you think, oh, she sounds fantastic. Oh my God, she sounds great. What is happening is she's optimized every note, every single note within her range. She's optimized it. She can sing all the lows, the middle. She's singing the high, and she knows how to use them and where to place them. Because obviously within your range, you don't. If I'm singing really high up, like on C6 or something, I can't sing like that for the whole song. I mean, unless the song is demanding for you. But I know that for me, I can if I'm doing exercises, vocal exercise, I can hit that. I can hit it, but for me, I can't definitely sing a whole song on that.
Yeah.
Because my mids are more comfortable. So I then have to, as a singer, intelligently begin to think, where do I sprinkle this bit of my range that is up there? I need to now begin to think of where it works and where it fits in. So where do I fit? Okay, there's a lower part of my range, but my mid range is the best. And for another singer, their high range is the best part of their voice, is the best expression. So you need to be aware of what is my strength. What are my strengths? And the vocal director needs to know what are the strengths, so that you then take the people who would, when you give them the particular song, it's their area of strength and they are able to nail it and actually sing it. Yeah. But I mean, obviously there's a place whereby some people can be a bit lazy. And like, I didn't ask for me, this is what I sing. No. I think there's always room for improvement for everybody. There's always space for every one of us. There's always space for improvement.
Okay, Mami, Gifty, I see your hand up, but let me ask this question. There's a question that says, how do you sing from your abdomen and not from your throat? Because many people don't really know it. And then I attest to this, because you meet a lot of music directors who are pointing and shouting at their singers and saying, sing from your abdomen, sing from your stomach, sing from your abdomen. And the music directors themselves can't explain or demonstrate what it means to sing from the stomach. And you see them hitting the stomach. So I think it's a practical question. How do you sing from your abdomen and not from your throat?
Okay, so obviously we're not singing from our stomach, because our stomach has nothing to do with the singing. So obviously your stomach is below your respiratory system. It's below there with the liver and all that. So you see up here is your lungs, and what I'm sure you probably heard, sing from your diaphragm, sing from your diaphragm. So your diaphragm is attached to the bottom of your lungs. It's like a flat sheet, and it's a natural thing that God put in there, so that whenever you take a breath in, the diaphragm will be almost like a dome. So it's attached to the, you know, the bottom of the rib cage. There's it's like a U, a bend under there. So and then so whenever you take a breath in, the diaphragm, which is like that, would then the air, because of the air pushes it down. So that's where you want your air to be going, there.
Mm-hmm.
So when your air goes down there, your diaphragm will do the work for you. It will go down. Then when you then decide you're going to breathe out, it will come back up. It pushes the air out for you, and it comes back and forms back the shape. It goes back to its natural shape, which is like a dome. It goes back to its natural dome shape. So when I then take the breath in, and then breathe out, so what it is doing, it is pushing. When it goes flat, it is expanding your lungs and creating space for air. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So when it goes flat, it means that your rib cage is expanding, and then your lungs are filling. And then when it comes back to its shape, then it means that, okay, the air is now being released. So you need to then be able to see, am I breathing into my abdomen? And we can do a quick check right now. So I'm going to tell you, you're going to take a breath. So everybody, your two hands, put one on the front, the front of your belly, the bottom of your belly, of your abdomen, and then put one on your side. So what you're going to do, and everybody's going to comment. So I want you to take a deep breath in. So when you take this breath, not in your throat, and when you're taking the breath, be relaxed. Don't just like, actually what would help us would be suck it in. Act like you've got a straw and start taking it in bits. So you're sucking in a drink. So everybody start sucking in the air. Okay, stop.
Small whistling.
Don't make me laugh.
Some cough.
Who is that disrupting the class over there? Right? Okay, so now everybody just tell me what you felt. What happened when you sipped in the bed? What did you feel?
The only thing
Gifty,
I can say is
unmute yourself.
I wanted to
yeah.
cough. Gifty, you can.
Yeah. So what happened when? Yes, I can't hear Gifty.
Gifty, we can't hear you. You need to unmute yourself. Yeah.
Yes. What happened?
Hi, everybody. So physically, my tummy sort of bloated, and I wanted to cough out.
Good. So that tells you took a deep breath. So that's the mechanism that you want to use. It's the same mechanism when we cough. All of us can do it now. If you put your hands back where it was, your side and your abdomen, and just cough. Can you feel the mechanism? Can you feel the mechanism that pulls? Can you feel the mechanism there? That's okay. So, okay.
It's
enough
enough.
laughing, okay? It's over.
Corona.
Hey, I hope you're there by yourself. Oh, Jesus. All right. So you see what you felt, what you were feeling. That is where your breathing is supposed to be. There. So if I am singing and I'm feeling that intensity here, then I know I'm doing it wrong, because I'm supposed to be feeling any intensity and any pull that I'm feeling, that I'm running out of air. I should be feeling it down here. Like if I breathe out, I'm running out of air. I should be feeling it should be my abdomen that is squeezing as I'm breathing out. It is squeezing in and just pushing out air, not my throat. So that's when you know. So you can do some, you can do that straw exercise. It's a very good exercise. You can just, you can even do one where you do it continuously. Maybe you can count to 10. So you breathe in for 10 and then you hold for 10. Then you can hold your abdomen and see what's going on there. And you can see that when you take the breath in, we'll do one right now. When you suck in through the straw, I'll count for 10. We'll hold it for 5 counts. Hold for 5, and then we'll release it. We'll release it for 10 counts. Yeah. Do we want to give it? Is everybody ready?
I hope everyone is actually trying.
We are ready.
We're ready. So when I count, you start taking in this. And when I get to 10, you hold it for 5 counts, and then we release it for 10. Are we ready? Okay.
Yes.
So start taking a breath in, and 1, 2. Start taking the breath in. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold it. 2, 3, 4, 5, and release it slowly. Aha, there we are. So I'm sure you could feel what was happening there.
I'm still releasing.
You're still releasing. Very good. Very good. So obviously that helps you to understand where the breathing mechanism is when I'm singing. It's not here, it's down here. So if I am not engaging that same muscle that I used when I was coughing, that's the same muscle that I need. If I'm not engaging that muscle, then it means I'm engaging something else, and which eventually will cause me to lose my voice.
Okay.
So,
yes. Pastor, yeah, does that mean that do you necessarily have to try and sing on the same key of a song that you are trying to learn?
No. No, because remember that first of all, apart from the individual who's going to sing, maybe who's going to lead the song, also there's also a range of a choir. Every choir is different. So somebody says we want to sing a Brooklyn Tabernacle song. The Brooklyn Tabernacle choir, I mean, they sing some stuff. And not every choir can sing what the Brooklyn Tabernacle choir is singing.
Sure.
Or let's even take, I listen to this is the new stuff that's come out. Let's say Kirk Franklin's backing singers. I mean, not everybody's Kirk Franklin's backing singers. Those guys are singing some now. Have they got 4 vocal folds in there, or is the same as mine? You know, because their range is wide, and we are trying to sing what they are singing. So there's some songs that it's important. Okay, we love the song, but can we sing it? Because what happens sometimes that we sing songs and then we are frustrated because we didn't get it. So I think if anything at all, why don't we maybe challenge? We can use it as a challenge for ourselves, that it's something that we want to achieve or something that we want to aim at. And then we are training ourselves to actually get there. So we aim at it. But there are also some songs whereby you have to change the key. You just have to change the key. It's not all the songs that when you change the key, the harmonies go, or the chord progression might go a bit funny. Yes, there are some songs like that whereby if you change the key, obviously it affects the actual chord progressions or whatever. But I think we also have to check, it's affecting the chord progression? Is that it's not sounding nice anymore, or what exactly is it affecting? Is it affecting the quality of the song? What exactly is it affecting? So I think we need to listen to see, are the harmonies, how do the harmonies sound? Are they sounding flatter, or is it just that it's now sounding heavy? It's not sounding bright anymore. Yes, so sometimes some songs are written in particular keys, and when you change them, you either have extreme ends of it. You can't sing it in the middle. It becomes either extremely high or extremely low. So it affects the song. Maybe the song becomes dull. So if you know that, okay, it's going to do that and the song will become dull and it's losing its brightness, then also you know that, okay, this one, the key change might not work. So I think for every song, it shouldn't be a blanket statement that if you change the key, it will affect the song. It won't work for every song. Some songs, you can change the keys.
Okay, let me take these 3 questions together because of time. The first one is it necessary for every singer, especially a lead vocalist, to have a bit of an idea on keyboard or know how to play keyboard? That's the first one. Then the second one is this, whether it's a myth that are people created to be BVs only, and are people created to be just lead vocalists? Because in the church choir setting, you have some people who think that once they are less important because they've been doing BVs all their lives. So the day they'll be able to lead a song, then that makes them superstars. So that's the second question. Are people created to be backing vocalists only and others also lead vocalists? Then the issue about riffs and runs that seem to be playing on every song, every young singer trying to learn some riff or trying to learn some run and run through some arpeggio. So those are the three questions. If you can touch them for us. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Someone just did one. Yeah.
I have an idea of that. Should the keyboardist have an idea? Should the singer have an basic idea of how the keyboard works?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, like I was talking to you about C sharp. What on earth is C sharp? What's a B? What's an E? What's a flat? What's an interval? You know, I mean, I'm not a keyboardist, but I had to go and learn some basic, I mean, I say basic music theory so that I could communicate with the band. So when they tell me a C sharp, I'm thinking, what on earth is a sharp? Why is it sharp? Why is it flat? What's that? Somebody says, oh, that's for me. I only sing key C. I say, no, please, sister. You don't understand you don't understand what you're talking about. So I think a singer should have a basic idea of what the layout of the keyboard, what do all the keys stand for, what are the white keys, what are the black keys, what are the name of the notes, how does it progress, intervals, semitones, because even basic things like we're modulating where half a step, a whole step, what's a modulation? You're just saying, oh, modulating, doing what does that mean? As a singer, you want to understand that actually it's increasing, it's going up. I'm going half a step, I'm going a full step. And what does that mean? When I look at the keyboard, how can I identify where those steps? So I think it's important I think every singer should have a basic idea. All of you, if you've got a tablet, get a keyboard on your tablet. Even if you can't buy a proper keyboard, you can't go and get a physical keyboard. On my tablet right now, I have a keyboard. Yeah. So there's a keyboard on my tablet, a keyboard app on my tablet. So sometimes there's no keyboard near me, but I can play, even if I want to do my voice lessons on my own, I can just play those notes. I play the notes to myself. So get a keyboard on your tablet, go online. There are so many basic free music theory lessons online. While you're searching Google, please, as you're searching Google for other stuff, search for free music theory lessons. Simple ones. You find and people have done all kinds, different ones. I would even say, because I'm not a technical person, so normally I look for things that they've done for children. I look for music theory lessons for children. I found out, okay, they explain it in very simple language, no complications. And nobody will see on your head that Adra, the one that you read, was for children. When you're saying C sharp, they will not know where you're ready from. Hey. So I think every singer should have a basic idea of at least how the keyboard works, understand names of keys, how keys works, and all the sort of things. So things like, are people created to be BBs or leads? Look, God blesses all of us with a range of skills. Some people might be more talented than others. That's just normal. Some might be less talented, but whether you're going to be you're more, all of us started as BVs. All of us were in the choir. All of us were backing. So that's where you start. Everybody's singing. Everybody sings. Everybody has. You have to sing in the choir. Because that's how you learn. Yeah. That's the way you learn how to. You learn how to hear each other. You learn how to balance out, blend by singing with others. That's how you learn. But obviously, there are some people who make an art who are fantastic BVs. But I can tell you, the people who are fantastic BVs are also excellent singers. When you get them to sing or lead a song, they are fantastic. Because there are some people they're very good at okay, let me differentiate a bit, because obviously BVs, as compared to if I'm singing in a studio, those BVs are completely different, because there are some things that you have to learn. You've got X amount of time. You're in the studio for 3 hours. This song has to be done. You have to sing an ooh here, an ah here, and you have to be exact. And then in the choir as well, I say that you're learning. Everybody's learning. I won't say one person is more important than the other. each of you are learning. The leads, even the lead singer, I'm always saying to myself that now that I've not sung in a choir for ages, I make an horrible BV because I now have to, if I'm going to do BVs, I have to physically restrain myself because I'm used to leading and having that control. But now if I have to do BVs, I will have to physically like restrain, and I have to talk to myself and say, okay, tone it down, quiet, only sing here.
The discipline of doing what you have to do,
because,
just what you have to do. Yeah.
Because it's a very disciplined, it's very disciplined. And I think that I don't think anybody should look down on each other, that the entire team, everybody has their part to play. And without the other person, without the lead singer interpreting the song properly, it doesn't come together. Without the BVs, the backing singers doing their job, singing that ooh and that ah in the right place, the whole thing falls apart. So we are all important. Without the band playing those chords in the right place, and everything falls apart. So we are all part. Notice they were all part of the whole picture. So everybody's part is important. So obviously, as I said, some people are naturally talented. So sometimes because they are naturally gifted, they might flow into the lead quickly. That's all I'll say. Yes. So some people are naturally talented. Yeah.
Okay.
But when it comes to riffs and runs is not for everybody. I mean, though you can actually learn it, but riffs and runs is not for everybody. We need people who sing straight. We need some people who sing straight. I remember telling somebody, one of the singers here in Ghana, and I said to her, look, you are not a riff and run singer. The main thing, be yourself. Be yourself. Pastor Helen sings riffs and runs because that's how I've sung that since I can remember. I didn't go to a school to learn it. That's just it's my expression. It's the same way that a keyboardist, they play certain notes on the keyboard, like, you feel it. It's the same way. That's how I feel the notes. So I feel it and I sing it. And I jokingly tell people, look, even when I'm worshiping in my room, I'm doing riffs and runs. And I said, and God loves it. That's because it's me. That's me. That's why it comes naturally to me. It comes naturally to me to do that. That's it. They are my expressions. So what are your expressions? How do you express yourself when you get a song? How do you express yourself? So my riffs and runs are expressions. I mean, obviously you can learn, because obviously you can learn riffs and runs, because obviously they are succession of notes. They are basic notes, which you can learn, obviously. But I think, if anything at all, be natural and also know what your strengths are. Some people are straight singers, and I think choir directors need to know that, okay, this person, if we had something like a classical piece, we need to give it to her, because we know that she's not going to damage it with any runs. she's not going to sing it. It's like for me, I always say, if you have to give me a classical piece, I have to literally I have to write notes on my script. Do not bend the note. I have to say, do not bend the note. Helen, don't bend the note. I have to literally tell myself, because, but obviously you have to be skilled enough as well. We should aim to be skilled enough to the point that we can sing anything as well. Let me not also say that, okay, you can't, okay, because that's not your natural tendency, then no, but we should be willing to learn. I'm always learning. We should be willing to learn. Don't think that, okay, this is how I sing, so they shouldn't come and tell me to sing that song. No, you should also be willing to learn.
Yeah.
We should be willing to learn. Don't just think that, okay, this is how I am, so I don't do that. Why are they telling me to do it? You can learn as well. Because sometimes, once in a while, the song might demand something. It might demand some color to it, and that color is a riff. And they're just notes. So, and we can learn notes. If we think of them that they are actually, if we sat down with our keyboardists and said, no, they're notes. It's a scale somewhere on them. It's their notes somewhere. Get them to play it. When you begin to find that actually these are notes, oh, it was 3 notes. I sang 3 notes. Oh, there were 4 notes. When you begin to say they were actually notes that I was singing, they mean think, maybe it's not that. Some of it is not that difficult, but I think it's important that it's not for everybody, and that we should be aware when we need to use it and when we don't need to use it. Yes. So we need to be aware of how to use it and when to use it. And we need to be aware of, there's some people who it naturally flows. And because sometimes you stand somewhere and somebody's leading worship and it's full of listening. Thinking, we want to worship, please. You see, because for some people, it doesn't come naturally. You see, for some people, it's forced. And your congregation can tell when somebody is trying, as somebody would say, they're doing too much. They're doing too much. So if you're doing riffs and runs, let it be natural. It's like trying to copy Kim Burrell. You can't copy Kim Burrell. That's just how she is. That's how she is.
But I want to be like Kim Burrell. That's always a question in people's minds.
For Kim Burrell, those are when, and that's how I see. When I'm trying to express something, I don't have words, I riff it. I don't have words, music, notes come into my head, and I sing them. So that's, for me, they are colors and expressions that I bring to the music.
But it's nice, oh.
It's nice, but you see, it has to be real and it has to be natural, which is why I said that some people actually, but sometimes you can actually learn. It's not that you can't learn it. Some people you can learn these things, but then when you learn it, you've got to know, where do I use it? Otherwise, you stick it somewhere like, why? So even when you
some people's own become too much. It's so annoying sometimes.
It is, because you're overdoing it. It has become unnecessary. You see, you're there to send a message. Your song is a message, and if your song, the message of your song, is now overshadowed by runs and riffs, and the people are like, and you are bordering on annoying the people, which is not the point. You're supposed to be getting a message across, or you're supposed to be leading the people in worship, and they're supposed to be focusing on God, not focusing on you on there doing acrobatics that they can't understand, and they're just thinking, Lord, get this man off the stage. We just want to worship. So I think that you have to, that's why as a singer, you must be, singers have to be very intelligent as to how, and think a lot. We think a lot as to when you're on that stage for that 5 minutes, 10,000 things are going through your head. What should I use? Which tool? What does God want? Which tool should I use? Do I need to do a run? Do I need to sing it straight? Do I need to sing it quietly? Do I need to be loud? Do I need to shout? All these are tools in your pocket. And you as a singer have to have the skill to bring it out at the right time. Okay,
Mommy, 3 other questions. We have barely 5 to 10 minutes. I'm telling you, barely 5 minutes. So I think Pastor Helen has to be on another program at 6.
Yes.
Quick one. I think there's a practical question here. Someone is asking, what's the difference between projection and shouting? Because they are being told to project. Yes, they sound like they are shouting, and they can't tell the difference between projecting and shouting. That's the first question. And the second question is, if I take Pastor Helen as my mentor, and I want to sing and sound like her, is it wrong to sing and sound like someone? Then the third question is, okay, are auditions necessary in a church choir setting?
Okay. So let me take the last one. Are auditions necessary? Obviously, it depends on your setup and what you have, but auditions help. Also, you're able to tell the level at which everybody is, isn't it? So, I mean, it's important. At least you know where the level of, if you know, okay, we have 2 strong sopranos, we have 5 altos, or these other 3 people, we know that they can, they need to go, they don't need to join the choir now. Auditions actually help you unearth the quality and the level and the ability of the singers. So it depends on what you want to do. For some choirs, we audition. So if you want to join the choir, we will audition you. Even though you've been assigned to the choir, we will audition you. And you have, if you don't pass the audition, we would have to kind of say, okay, then you have to do some exercise, you have to do some lessons, or you have to be with the choir, but you're not going to be ministering, so that you can learn and develop yourself further. So that you can be in that atmosphere whereby people are singing and you begin to learn. So there's nothing wrong with auditions at all. Nothing wrong. I think auditions they're good. I think they help you understand where everybody is. Because sometimes people are just hiding there doing nothing. Until the day that you want 3 people to sing, and then they stand and you're like, oh my God, what is she singing? So it's important to at least know what everybody is doing. Is it right to, what was it?
Sound.
Yeah,
I want to sing like someone because the person picks you as his or her mentor.
All of us start with imitation. All of us start imitating somebody. That's what we start. That's how we learn. We learn by imitating. I remember when I first started doing really kind of like really black singing. I remember the guy that used to teach me, he would, when we get a song, we would literally script the entire song from the oo to the ah to the, he would script the whole song. So, and I still do that now. When I get a song, I literally write the whole song out, everything that the person said. So I'll write the song itself, and then what the person said in between, how they said it. You see my screen, there'll be arrows going here and arrows going down there, because I'm trying to copy how they sang it. And that's how we learn. There's nothing wrong with trying to be like somebody, but then obviously as you grow, you then want to develop your own tone, your own color. And I think that's the essence in learning. That obviously you learn from people, but obviously eventually you then begin to grow into your own person. Yes. So there's some people that you copy, and there's some songs that you copy because what they've done in there is just difficult for you to replicate. I remember this is years ago when I was in the choir, and my choir director gave me a song by Yolanda Adams, and I remember looking at the song and I think, no, Sister Yolanda has done a good job on this song. I'm throwing my ad-libs in the bin because they're not working. Honestly, I literally went there and I learned, because her ad-libs were like, it was like verses. They were like verses. Mm-hmm. So it was like, why should I take hers out and put mine in? So sometimes there's some songs that the way that the singer has interpreted it, their ad-libs sound like part of the composition. It's like if you take the ad-libs out, the song will sound, something is missing. So you know when to copy and when not to. But as for the imitating, as singers, that's how we learn. We imitate, and then we begin to develop our own personality, our own music personality. Yeah. And then Mami, projection.
Before I talk about the projection, I think there's also someone's just add vibrato control to it. Someone is saying the vibrato is there, and there's nothing she can do about it. She's been told to reduce it, and she doesn't know what to do about it. So vibrato control, and then the difference between projection and shouting. Yeah.
Yes, obviously the vibrato is probably more to do with the breath management, and how obviously obviously most of the stuff vibrato should really and naturally comes. It actually naturally when you hold out a note, actually the vibrato normally comes on naturally at the end, and you can add a bit to it, but naturally it's there naturally. But some people, their voices are vibrating more than normal. So obviously, I think there will probably be some exercise more to do with the breath, as to how you're managing your breath. Is the breath running out that is making the voice tremble? That it seems as if you can't control it. You should be able to control it. So if I'm singing, so there's a natural vibrato kind of coming at the end. But if I'm singing, no. I'm singing, I'm singing, no. So I've got to be able to control it, and that is, it's breath management. It's managing your breath, and you have to be in control of that. So what might be happening down there at that particular point is that the abdominal muscles are shaking and crying and say, hey, we can't do anymore, please, let us. And then I just say, hey, okay, just release it. So you release everything, and it's like, no, but you can't do that. You have to be in control of your apparatus. You have to be in control of your instrument. So with that one, we will have to work with the person in the breath management, as to how they manage the breath and how they hold their notes out. Yes.
So projection against shouting. Wow, F tremor.
but you see, projection
against shouting.
Projection is the power under control. You are in control. We shout, they're just everywhere. You're not in control. You just shout. But when you project, I'm in control of the notes. It's not flying everywhere. I'm not screaming my head off. I'm in control of the notes. I can bring it down if I want to. I can make it quiet if I want to. But not, no, it's just going everywhere. No direct. No. So when we sing, the singing should be pleasant to the ears. Singing must be pleasant to the ear. Even in songs that are quite verbose, that are quite loud, and some songs that are really loud and they're thumping, you're screaming, it's almost as if they think you're shouting, but you are controlling what is happening there. Sometimes you hear someone like Donnie McClurkin singing, and you're thinking he's shouting, that note is going, and you think, he's gonna sing, and he sings and he's shouting, and you think, oh my God, but he's controlling it. It's like power under control.
Yeah.
You control it. You have to control it. It should the song should not be controlling you. The voice doesn't control you. Control the voice.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, it's 5:23. How many minutes have we got? It's 5:23. Are we leaving at 5:25 or 5:30? So I know if we need to take in
5:30. I need to leave at 5:30. I need to leave.
Yeah. Okay. So guys, again, like I'm saying, it's Pastor Helen Yawson. If there are any, let me give. Okay. So three more questions. If we have any question, let me see your hands up, or you can put it in, and then Pastor Helen Yawson will tackle it. But I mean, there was a question I wanted to put up. Are you able to give us an example of how you do your vocal warm-ups, or you train yourself, if there's any give out you want? Yeah.
So a basic, let's just do basic. I mean, there are loads of warm-ups, but a basic vocal warm-up, I mean, you start with, it could be humming, and we do things like one that is really, really good, which is, sometimes people can't do it. It's what we call lip trills or tongue trills. Lip trills, tongue trills, but we do them to the scale, but we don't, whenever we're doing the warm-ups, we always do them as much as possible on the 5-note scale and not the 7. We don't do it on the full scale, because obviously we are warming up. We're not doing the job of singing yet, so we don't want to do the full scale. So 5-note scale will be da 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 do re mi fa so fa mi re do. So that it's the 5-note scale. So you're going up 5 and you come back down. So you don't do the full 8 set of 8 notes. So so a basic warm up will be, you start off with something like humming. So I will still do the same thing. So I could do, and I'll go up in halves. So with this, I'm starting, and like what I said earlier on, I'll start on my lowest note. I'll go on the keyboard, pick, I'll check which notes, is that, can I pitch? So you always check, can I pitch the notes? If I can't pitch it, it's not a competition, please. Find the note that you can pitch. What's the lowest note that I can pitch? You take it. You start there. Then you go up in halves. Same thing with the lip trills, tongue trills. And those two exercises, the lip trills and the tongue trills, are very good for warm-ups, because they don't, it's almost as if they don't use the full extent of your vocal folds. Your lips do the work. Your lips take the pressure off your vocal folds. So they're very good exercises for warm-ups, the lip trills and the tongue trills. They take, especially the lip trills, it takes the pressure off the vocal folds, which at that point in time, you're trying to warm it up. You're not trying to work it. You want to warm it up. So, so the lip trills would be, if you're having difficulty, put your hands in, let them meet where your teeth are, where your teeth join. So you said that the focus, the work is done more by the lips instead of the vocal folds, which is good, because it doesn't put pressure So you don't want to do a vocal warm up that by the time you finish doing the vocal warm up, you're like, oh my God, you're coughing and all sorts. No, it's supposed to be a warm up and not supposed to kill your voice. So so those, so the same thing with the so that was a lip trill. So the tongue trills. You can even do it to a song. Let's say you're somewhere, maybe you're not even at home, there's no keyboard anywhere. Let's just pick a song. We can pick anything. So what is happening? When you're doing that, your vocal folds are getting warm up. Even your face with the lip trills and the tongue, it warms up your face, your throat, everything gets. When you touch it after, you find that your face is. You can feel the vibration, and when your face will start to itch because the blood circulation the blood is circulating. Your nose will start to itch, your cheeks will start to itch because of that. So you can even take a song and just use it. It will warm up your voice. Yeah.
Okay. I have. Wow.
Hey.
There's a question from one just one two in one. There's a question from. I want to mention the name, but I'm tempted to. I won't. He wants to know who your vocal mentors are and how you choose them. That is, if you have any. And then, does a singer need a voice coach necessarily, especially when the MD can't give a practical example like you just did? So, do singers necessarily need voice coaches? And then he wants to find out your vocal mentors, if you have any, and how you chose them.
Well, the vocal mentors, I mean, Kim Burrell is something that I've looked up to for like forever. So my main mentors, so my mentors musically were Kim Burrell, Yolanda Adams, and that was because they were mainly for vocals. And then I had somebody like Shirley Caesar. Shirley Caesar was because of expression, and she's got grit and she expresses herself really well. And then someone like Helen Baylor. Helen Baylor is like the BV's, I mean, she's a fantastic singer, but she's the BV's BV. She's disciplined. When you hear her song, she sings exactly as she sang it. So I liked her for her discipline and then also her testimony. So I picked the mentors because of the testimonies that they have, but for me, Kim Burrell, because of her, because I was looking for someone who was expressive. So the expressions for me, Kim Burrell, her not just the interpretation of songs, but the expressions of notes, the way she takes notes, and I'm thinking, how on earth I should do that? I should take those notes, and I'm thinking, it's crazy. So normally I will sit there and listen and rewind. We're trying small. So those are the people that I kind of. So Yolanda Adams, because Yolanda Adams, I mean, she's the master of runs and riffs, and she just sings it low. She sings it high. She sings it in the middle. She can sing anything. She can sing.
First time I heard you sing, I actually thought it was Yolanda who was singing. Okay, Mama, I think you can go on.
Okay, so yeah, so.
Does the singer need a voice coach? Yeah.
You might not necessarily maybe have one like but I think it's good to see one. It's good to see one to kind of just check out your voice. I mean, I remember when I was in the UK, I would do few voice lessons. I would actually just go to just check out. I remember I had to have a vocal assessment. I got someone to actually. This guy, he's a fantastic vocal coach. He's a classical coach, but I got him to assess my voice to tell me where's my range and what do I sing. And then also, I remember and this for all the ladies, if you're pregnant or going to get pregnant or married, when I had my first daughter, I stopped singing. And then by the time I came back to choir, holy Jesus, I was singing tenor. Yes, I lost my range because I went on maternity leave. I lost my range. So I remember I had a friend in choir who was a vocal coach. So I had to go to her I think I had like an 8-week session with her, which she took me through the exercises to get my range back. So there are times whereby you go to it could just be, I'm going there. I want somebody to kind of It's like an MOT. I'm going there to check how's my voice doing. What do I need to do? It could just be like a set of eight lessons. I want to come for 8 lessons. Check out my voice, assess my voice, and take me through some things that these are my weaknesses. What can I do to strengthen myself? And then you do it. You might not be going there every day. For some people, they want to do it every time. But it depends. Even when you're recording, sometimes, like when I'm recording, also my last album with Flo Rocca. Flo Rocca was my vocal coach.
Mm.
So Flo Rocca was my
wow.
vocal coach on the album. So he was vocally coaching me and say, okay, no, you need to change, no, you need to change that. No. Sing it higher. Oh, don't sing it low. Sing the higher octave of this. No, bend it here. Sing that riff. Do this. So he would intervene in those. So even when recording, sometimes you need a vocal coach because there's some direction that they bring when you're recording that you, the artist, you won't hear those things. You don't hear them, but if you've got someone who's a vocal coach who's working with you while you're recording, they hear other stuff that you can do, and they can see, your voice can go, why are you kind of limiting yourself? You can do better than that. And they will give you ideas of things that you can actually do. So sometimes it could be maybe you're going for a recording. Sometimes you actually need a vocal coach who is inclined that way, a vocal coach / director, because they're kind of not the same, but yeah, who understands how the voice works and that can actually guide you. So sometimes you need that. So there's nothing wrong in having a vocal coach. Sometimes we need the help to kind of get us moving along and to get us back on track with our voice. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I need a round up.
Yeah, I know. Guys, thank you so much. Pastor Helen Yawson, you've been awesome. It's been insightful, and we pray and hope that we get another opportunity again. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. I think I'll call you later. I quickly want to do this. Pastor Helen is on again for another program. Let me share this quickly. So if we can join, let me share this quickly. Okay,
I think on the flyer,
yeah. So on the
flyer,
Pastor, you can go ahead and just give us,
Yes. So the flyer, you actually have to register. So just call the number. It's free though. It's free. Just that we're trying to get people to register so we can actually see how many people actually came on board. So there's a number on there for all of us who are, if you're in Ghana, obviously, basically just text. There's a number there. Text the number. Text your name, your phone number, and your email address to the number, and then they will give you the ID and the password to the Zoom meeting.
So you can join. All right.
So that's how you register. So just register by texting your phone number, your name, and your email address to the number on the flyer. Yes.
Okay.
And if you're having any problems with the texting, there's also an email address there. Send it to the email address, and they will sort you out.
Okay. That starts, I think, in barely less than 30 minutes.
Yep,
25 minutes. Yeah. We are grateful for doing this with us. Thank you so much. God bless you, Pastor. I think you can. God bless you so much.
Okay.
We'll
Bye.
So
bye. Bye, everybody. Bye. Stay blessed. Bye.
All right, guys. So our next session is with. Let me quickly try and share that. God bless you guys for coming again. Our next session is with Mr. Jebi Jokoto. I would